Hello, we are back. Where were we when we were last together? Well, we were simmering the rice so it could soak up all that water, which it did. And then I poured the milk in. I didn't figure that was super riveting to watch either. I said riveting again. But now the milk is being absorbed by the rice. It's making a porridge. And we have another 10 minutes on that. So we will wait on that. But now we have flour, and this is rye flour. And what we're going to do is I'm going to fill up, and the oven is preheated. What I'm going to do now is fill this cup up with water. And set it right there. So the way this works is we're supposed to make sure that it's just beyond sticky. So we're going to use the tablespoon to add in the flour. So I have rye flour and salt, water, and some just all-purpose flour, a quarter of a cup. Okay. So now I'm going to stir in the water. So remember when we were talking about rye bread and such, using rye flour to make these dough balls. Okay, looks kind of sticky. And so now I'm going to use a tablespoon, which I have down here, of mixing this together. And then we're going to make little dough balls. Okay, so can show you what I'm looking at. At some point soon, I'll probably have a GoPro so you can actually watch what I'm doing as I'm doing it. But yeah, see how it's kind of still a little bit too wet, a little bit too sticky. So we're going to add more flour. And like I said, this is supposed to be just beyond sticky. Okay. For some reason, this doesn't look like very much dough, but maybe it doesn't need to be a lot. Till the dough is just past the sticky stage. Okay. I'm guessing maybe just a little bit more flour. Just a little tiny bit more. You don't make it too hard, and the dough won't really set properly. I'm just going to mix this together. Okay, that's looking pretty close. Man, I almost feel like just a little bit more flour would be good. Yeah, I think so. Maybe we'll start with that much. I see why it's telling you to. Hopefully that didn't put us over the edge, because this dough is starting to actually take shape. That is definitely enough. There we go. That's probably perfect, actually. Just a little bit more moving stuff around. Okay. Looks like it's pretty darn good. Supposed to divide the dough into. Oh, it's got a while before it soaks up all that milk. Alrighty. I'm gonna put just a little bit of salt in here. Let's do a little bit more stirring. There we go. Turn the heat up just a smidge. Okay, well. Just beyond sticky. You know what? This might actually need just a little bit more. I'm just going to use all of it. Because it said more is needed in the directions, but when I incorporated all this flour, it actually became a little bit too sticky. This is why you should always, always, always add little by little when you're doing flour, because it is so easy. It is difficult to take flour out of something. It is not very difficult to add more flour. So, anyway, okay. Now, this is starting to feel like a decent dough. So I'm gonna, okay. A lightly floured circle. Okay. There we go. We got a little ball. Whoop. Whoop, 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 whoop. All right, now I'm going to use some flour. And get this rocking and rolling. Oh man, this dough is sticky. Sticky dough. It's crazy, it's like not even coming off. It's a trap. Alright. That's better. Perfect. So now we're going to partition this dough into a bunch of different little circles. Let me turn the brightness up on my computer real quick. Lightly floured surface. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm going to check on the porridge. Probably stir it up a little more. This is gonna, I think, take a little bit longer. Heat it back up a little bit. Okay. It's hot. Okay. Cut this up into the little pieces. I'm just going to use a bench scraper because that's what I like to do. There's that. And we're doing this into 16 equal portions. This seems like not very much dough for 16. But it says it's supposed to be very thin. So we will follow the rule. Three, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Okay. Well, there we go. There they are. Like little trinkets of dough. And then, it says the dough should be as thin as possible. Just rolling these in my hand. Rolling, rolling, rolling. Keep that dough rolling. That's rye, because it's rye. It's a little dough ball. Roll, roll, roll your boat if it's made of bread. How's everyone's week going? I hope well. We've got some elections this week in the United States. There's the timer, which would be encouragement for me to check on that milk again, which I will after I finish rolling these out. And I went and voted today. And that always feels good. When you live in a democracy and you can vote, I'm a firm believer that you should. Or not. For a long time I thought, if you don't vote, then you're squandering your opportunity. But abstaining from voting is saying just as much, even if I disagree with when there's a lesser of two evils, whatever that means. But I will just do what I can do, what I can control, which is voting for myself. Not voting for myself, but voting in my whatever. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Okie dokie, artichoke. Wash my hands once more. Okay. There we go. This is probably like one of the most dull episodes I've done. Hasn't really been saying anything. I've just been like standing around. Maybe that's a good thing. I'm a little bit tired. It's still very, very, very wet. I'm a little confused as to why it's still so wet. I don't really get it. On an ungreased baking sheet. I can do that. You would think I would be ready with all this stuff. But here we are. Okay. Clean off my area. I need to clean this kitchen so bad. It's not even that it's so dirty, it's just clutter. There's a lot of different spices and stuff. It's been a really wonderful part of doing this every week is I collect spices and things I wouldn't normally have around the house, but then where am I to put them? Aside from where they otherwise would be. So there's that. Anybody get good candy? If anybody did Halloween, my favorite candy is Reese's. And I have eaten several of Henry's Reese's that he had. You probably can still see behind me that way, his candy pail. And yeah, he's not feeling well today, and he hasn't really been feeling well for the past couple of days. It's tough when you got a kiddo that's not feeling super good or well, but here we are. And that's what you gotta do. Just gotta take care of them, give them lots of hugs, tell them everything's gonna be okay, and when they feel sad, just give them a big hug. I guess I'm gonna press pause because there's not really much to do right now. I've gotta wait for this milk to absorb into the rice to make the porridge. Otherwise it'll just be like a soggy mess, which nobody wants. So I will push pause and I'll be back very soon.